My Hero Academia Chapter 345 Review. We talk about Toga's true intentions and why Deku's danger sense didn't work on her. Will Toga become a hero? This and more. Also, only a small percentage of the people who watch our videos are actually subscribed. So if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. Please enjoy this video. Let's go! The new My Hero Academia chapter 345 starts a few seconds after the last chapter ended, with all the villains being trapped in the iron cages. We then see the inside of one of these cages and see Toga, who seems to be very desperate and begs her fellow villains to break the iron cage as soon as possible. While thinking about Deku, something is going on with her in a positive sense, which becomes clear at the end of this chapter, when Deku couldn't sense Toga with his quirk Danger Sense. This ability allows the user to detect potential threats in the environment. He is able to detect emotions such as hatred, anger and fear, and general evil intentions. It has been confirmed that his quirk is not triggered if the user is not in actual danger. For example, if his opponents do not harbor any real malice and only want to help. So if the quirk did not work, then there is simply no danger coming from Toga, and thus she did not act with evil intentions, which then again shows that she might have somehow changed for the better. Whether she will join the fight against All For One, as we have predicted many times, or if she will just help Deku with something is not clear yet. We will go into more detail at the end of this chapter, but that explains why she was thinking of Deku at that moment. Here the focus is mainly on her facial expression, which is quite different from her usual psychopathic excitement, which is also emphasized even more at the end of the chapter. However, some of the villains then actually managed to destroy these iron cages, including Toya, who is amused that they were only able to hold them captive for 3 seconds. Of course, Toya isn't quite aware of the purpose of this action, so Shoto wakes him up with a little sense of reality by explaining that those 3 seconds were more than enough. Again, I want to point out that Toya's facial expression is quite different than usual. He actually looks a little bit like Shoto, more serious, less crazy, similar to how Horikoshi tried to draw Toga in a different way. The emphasis is on the seriousness of this arc in terms of emotions and opening to true intentions and not just blind hatred. The reason for the villain's actions will play a much bigger and more important role than ever before, so we can expect that the focus will be on deep dialogues. We can definitely expect emotional changes in Toya very soon, most likely not like Toga, where Toga might actually switch sides, but on a more emotional level in relation to his family. He will most likely open up about his feelings and the pain he had to endure because of his father Endeavor, but he will most likely still remain evil and probably take the fight to the end. We just don't see how someone like Toya could change anymore. He's just way too messed up. Compared to Toga, we don't have the slightest indication that he could possibly harbor a different view deep inside. But let's see, maybe Horikoshi has an unexpected surprise for us, especially after you subscribe to our channel. I had to do this. Okay, what I meant to say is especially after Shoto's wish to have dinner with Toya one day. Really strange how Horikoshi trying to make a good emotional connection between the two. Then we see how the heroes drive the villains, who manage to break out of the iron cages to the portals through which the villains should be separated, as it was planned from the beginning. Divide and conquer. This plan was finally successful and we see good old Monoma, as we all know him, laughing and saying that he's the one pulling the strings. Oh man, he will never change, and we thought he might possibly change a bit after the last chapter, but it's good to see him like that. Let's give him this moment. After all, it's his big day. Then the heroes finally hurry to enter the portals assigned to each of them. It's confirmed that our guess that Bakugo and Deku would face Shigaraki is true, but something went wrong that we didn't see coming. Bakugo calls Deku, but before they can enter the portal together, Deku is pulled in by someone who came from another portal. Fat stays behind and is ordered by All Might to arrest all remaining villains and protect Aoyama. He also instructs Monoma to return where Aizawa is. And that's pretty interesting. Why would it be important for Monoma to return to where Aizawa is? First of all, we don't know where exactly Aizawa is, so whether All Might was referring to the hospital or some other place. But if it is the hospital, then what purpose does it serve for Monoma to return there? But before my partner continues with this My Hero Academia chapter 345 review, please take a moment to leave a like. With your support, we can continue the weekly My Hero Academia content on this channel. Thank you.
Monoma has only two potential purposes at this moment with the current quirks he controls. The first purpose is to learn Aizawa's erasure quirk, which could be very useful to Monoma in the current war. Or second, to use one of the quirks he already has, for example his teleportation quirk, which he could then use to teleport someone else, someone who is with Aizawa right now. Of course, if Aizawa is still in the hospital, then we have to consider Shirakomu, as always with the possibility that he has returned, but for some reason he's no longer able to use Kurogiri's quirk. So if he wants to help in the war, then only Monoma can teleport him there, which in turn means that Aizawa would also come along with present might. There are many possibilities, but the fact that Monoma returns to Aizawa will be very important for the plot of My Hero Academia in future chapters. Then the operation enters phase 2, and we see a double page spread where the heroes are ready to take down All For One. Among them are Endeavor, Hawks, Tokoyami, and many others. Endeavor says that the quirk used by All For One is a worse version of Kurogiri's Warp Gate. It can only travel short distances and cannot teleport the user, and so All For One is trapped, leaving him no option but to fight. All For One admits that their plan is great, but says that it is a bit risky to separate the heroes in such a time, as it might not be the best idea to bring Deku to Tomura Shigaraki. What is strange is the fact that Endeavor, despite of all the build-up, didn't end with Toya and Shoto. We would have all expected Endeavor in particular to take care of his son, since he is directly responsible for what he did to him and why he ended up becoming the person he is today. I mean, Endeavor himself has said that he will take care of Toya along with Shoto, so it is very strange indeed to see that he is not part of the fight. It could be because we don't know the whole plan of the heroes and there might be a rotation at some point, so that Endeavor does end up with Toya and Shoto, which is what we really want to see, since that's the point of the whole Todoroki family drama. Or Shoto especially asked Endeavor to be allowed to take care of Toya alone. Even if that were possible, we still find it hard to believe that Endeavor simply won't participate in this war against his own son. So we believe that no matter why Endeavor is not fighting Toya at the moment, he will definitely end up fighting Toya anyway, for whatever the reason, whether it is planned or unintentional. The scene cuts away and we see the UA floating on a huge piece of land protected by a force field. A portal opens and Shigaraki is transported to where Genius is already waiting for him. Then Bakugo also appears and says that there is a problem. Deku has been kidnapped, which we have already seen earlier in this chapter. And now we come to the point where things come together. Although we were right about Bakugo fighting Shigaraki and Uraraka fighting Toga, we didn't expect Toga to be the one to pull Deku to her, partially destroying our prediction. As we mentioned earlier, Deku doesn't understand why Danger Sense wasn't activated. We have already explained the reason for that. But what exactly are Toga's intentions if they are not evil? Deku will understand that Toga is not lying because of Danger Sense, so he will at least listen to what she has to say, and depending on what she will say, he might even believe her. Instead of trying to teach her how to live properly with others, she was pushed away and made into an outsider who then developed this evil personality. But Deku and Uraraka showed her another side that she hadn't seen before in other people, and that made her question her whole previous ideology. It appears that Toga is not trying to help them at the moment, but possibly trying to figure out where she stands in this war, on the sides of the heroes or on the side of the villains. It looks like her fate will depend on the outcome of the upcoming conversation with Deku and Uraraka. However, it is also possible that she has already made up her mind and will help the heroes by either giving them information or simply telling them that she wants to fight on their side. She may have even saved Deku because she knew he would have been in danger otherwise, knowing something that the heroes couldn't possibly see coming. That is part of All For One's plan. We know that All For One is possibly the most intelligent person in the world, so it is not wrong to expect that he might have an ace up his sleeve, or maybe a plan B. What do you guys think of Toga's intentions? Let us know in the comments below. So that's it for today, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to smash the like button, and if you're new to our channel, make sure you subscribe with the notification bell turned on. See you guys in the next video. Yummy out!